Recorded Books presents an unabridged recording of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Last Straw, by Jeff Kinney, narrated by Ramon de Ocampo.
March. Sunday. Remind me to never go to a sleepover with Rowley again. Yesterday afternoon, Mom dropped me and Rowley off at his friend's house. The first hint that I was in for a long night was when he walked into the house and there wasn't a kid there who was older than 6. My second hint was that everyone was wearing their karate gear. The whole reason I even went to the sleepover was so we could all sneak out and crash Holly's slumber party. But Rowley's friends were more interested in Sesame Street than they were in girls. All those guys wanted to do was play a bunch of dopey party games, like Blind Man's Bluff and that kind of thing. I could have been playing Spin the Bottle with Holly Hills, but instead, I spent my night trying not to get groped by a bunch of first graders. Rowley's friends played some other games too, like freeze tag and Twister. I excused myself to go upstairs when someone suggested we could play Who Licked Me? I tried calling Mom to pick me up, but she was out with Dad, so I knew I was stuck at this kid's house for the night. At about 9:30, I decided to just go to sleep and get the night over with. But those guys came into the bedroom and got into a massive pillow fight. And let me tell you, it's not easy falling asleep when a sweaty little kid falls on you every 5 seconds. Eventually, the kid's mom came upstairs and told everyone it was time to go to sleep. Even after the lights went out, Rowley and his friends stayed up, talking and giggling. They must have thought I fell asleep, because at one point a bunch of them snuck up on me to try and pull the hand in a bowl of warm water trick. Well, that was enough for me. I went downstairs to sleep in the basement, even though it was pitch black down there, and I couldn't find the light. I'd left my sleeping bag upstairs, and that was a mistake, because it was freezing in the basement. I did not want to go back upstairs and get my stuff, though. I just curled up in a ball and tried to conserve as much body heat as possible to make it through to the morning. I think it was probably the longest night of my life. When the sun came up this morning, I found out the reason it was so cold in the basement. I was sleeping right by the sliding glass door, and some fool had gone and left it open overnight. That really stunk, because if I knew there was a way to escape last night, I definitely would have taken it. When I got home this morning, I went back to bed until Dad woke me up and told me it was time to go to the soccer game. It turns out Roderick was right about the shag thing. I spent the whole game pulling balls out of the brambles, and let me tell you, it wasn't a whole lot of fun. Our team won the game, and afterward, we were supposed to go out to celebrate. Dad couldn't stick around, so he asked Mr. Litch if he would drive me home afterward. Well, I really wish Dad had asked me what I thought about that idea first, because I would have just gone home with him. I was starving from all that digging around in the bushes, though, so I figured I'd just go with the team. We went to a fast food place, and I ordered 20 chicken nuggets. I went to use the bathroom, and when I came back to the table, all my food was gone. But then Eric Bickford dumped my nuggets out of his big, sweaty hands. If you ever wanted to know why I don't like team sports, there it is in a nutshell. After lunch was over, me, Kenny Keith, and Eric got into Mr. Litch's car. Kenny sat in the back with Eric, and I sat up front in the passenger seat. We had to wait a long time because Mr. Litch was sitting on the hood of his car, blabbing away with Mr. Boone. After we'd been sitting there for a while, Kenny leaned forward from the back seat and laid on the horn for about 3 seconds. Then Kenny jumped back in his seat, so when Mr. Litch turned around, it looked like I was the one who honked the horn. Mr. Litch gave me a dirty look, and then turned back around and talked to his assistant for another half-hour. On the way home, Mr. Litch stopped to do about 5 errands. He wasn't in any hurry to get them done, either. And get this, Kenny and Eric were mad at me for making them get home so late. So that should give you a feeling for the type of intelligence I'm dealing with here. Mr. Litch dropped me off last. On the way up the hill, I saw the Snellas out in their front yard, and it looked like they were trying to get some clips to send in to America's Funniest Families. I guess they don't feel like waiting around a few months until Seth's half-birthday party.